Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my Minecraft Beta 1.7.3 world, where I'm playing in this world called YouTube. I uh, I wanted to talk a little bit about something that happened yesterday. Not necessarily because it's especially newsworthy. Um, I've had a little bit of a streak the last few weeks of uploading every day, and it's not necessarily that I feel obligated to do it or feel like, oh my gosh, I didn't do it. I have to explain why. But I just think it's interesting. I yesterday I went to I've been talking a little bit about doing a hardcore series in a modern version of the game. And so yesterday I recorded a video instead of being in this world. I recorded a video because I thought it would be fun of me messing around in a modern version of the game. And it was kind of fun for a few minutes, but it just wasn't that great. Like I didn't feel like it felt boring to me to play. And so if it felt boring to me to play, I feel like, nobody probably wants to see that. And I tend to realize like I think I just like playing in this world for now. Like if I get bored of this world, I'm not saying I have to play in it, as my only world. Like I could have other worlds, but I think this is going to be, I've said I'm gonna do hardcore, but I just didn't enjoy it as much. Like genuinely, I just didn't. I didn't think it was as fun. Plus, there were issues with the video. Someone came to drop something off in the middle of while I was recording, so then I had to download a video editing software, which I have not had until this point, and that's its own thing, right? Um, it's kind of difficult to edit videos, which is why I kind of like the I wouldn't say low effort, just doesn't necessarily require hours and hours and hours of work type of content, where I'm just kind of talking to the camera, talking to my viewers. So anyway, I don't know. I'm not saying the hardcore series will never happen. I'm just saying for now, I think I just want to play in this world. Um, yeah, I think this is my world for now. I I don't want to feel like I'm forcing myself to play something that I don't want to play just because I feel like, it would bring me more viewership or more fans or whatever. Like I don't know. I just feel like it's not really worth it, especially because I just play these games to relax after a long day. I Today I've been working on a little bit of a project. I'm trying to run Windows 98 in a virtual machine and get it connected to the internet. Now, some of you might think that sounds very difficult. Some of you might think that sounds very easy if you're like a pro at computers, but I am not the greatest. I wouldn't say I'm like technologically illiterate. Like, I know a lot about computers, but I don't really have a computer science educational background, I know a little bit of Python. I know VBA, I use Microsoft Excel every day of my life, so I know some VBA. I guess that's a programming language, but you know, computers are complex things. They're not. Oh, all right. I'm gonna get this guy. I jumped. Wow, he fell. Huh? Very cool. And what was I talking about? Oh, I was talking about my knowledge of computers, and I kind of want to learn a little bit more about the fundamentals, and I figure what better way than running a computer on my computer and understanding, especially how it began. Like, for example, who would know? Like, I always figured like the C drive just stood for computer, right? Like my PC, my computer. But apparently, there was a drive A and B, which is for floppy disks. And so it was just the C drive, and obviously that doesn't exist anymore. But like things like that, like I feel like if I have a better understanding of the history of technology, it will actually help me a lot in understanding current technology. I'm trying to teach myself Python right now. Um, it's not I wouldn't say it's especially difficult, but it's just a lot to like memorize, I feel. Like it is I mean, I guess that's why they call it a computer language, right? No duh, it's like learning another language. I kind of understand the rules of like the grammar rules, so to speak, like how to make a sentence, but I just don't know vocabulary, right? Like I don't know the commands and libraries and functions to use in certain situations. It's almost kind of discouraging because as someone who's kind of just starting, it feels like I'll never be able to learn it as good as AI. Like that's kind of weird, right? But I just feel like AI, because I've been learning with the assistance of ChatGPT, right? And trying to teach myself how it works. And, every time I need a function to do something, like it has an idea for how it works, how it, like what could function in that circumstance. And I just don't know if I can get to that point. Although I do know Spanish. I'm not a Spanish ancestry, but I lived in Mexico for a little bit, and I learned Spanish while I was there. It was a very difficult task, but now I'm fluent in Spanish, like completely fluent. I lived there for just over a year, and um, I learned it really, really well. So now I would say I'm completely 100% fluent in Spanish. I completely understand it. And so I feel like if I can learn a human language, I don't feel like it's impossible for me by any means to learn a computer language. However, I still just think it's going to be difficult. So I'm not like super discouraged, but I'm also like, man, AI is going to know this. Because the thing is, it's only going to get better, right? And I don't know. I think it is a real concern to have. Like, will AI absorb my career goals? Because I mean, ultimately, I think there will always be a need for humans, but certainly, like the AI is going to lower the demand for humans, right? For human labor and output. So I don't know. It's just kind of worrying a little bit. Like, for example, I want to become an attorney. I don't know if I've talked about this, but I want to go to law school after I graduate. And it's been something that I wanted to do for actually a long time. I used to be on my debate team in high school, and I think it would be cool, right? I think it would be cool to be a lawyer. I like arguing with people. I like thinking about things. I even like, writing, even if it's a kind of boring subject, Um, this is at the same level, right? Yeah. So I feel like it would be good for me, but then at the same time, I'm just kind of worried, like, I don't think there will ever be a need. Okay, how can I phrase it? Because only humans can be responsible for things, not computers, right? This is like what they talked about in the 60s. A human always has to be in charge of computers because computers have no responsibility. They have no uh, accountability, right? If they make a mistake. Um, so I understand that, the argument is that you're always going to have a human there. it makes sense. At the same time, if all of a sudden in the future 10 attorneys can do the work of what 50 in the past could do because AI is expanding their work capacity significantly, it seems a little bit like a problem for someone that now wants to be an attorney because now there's a lot of people with law degrees and not a lot of need for them at law firms. I mean, unless the demand for legal services somehow rises faster than the ability of AI to, you know, keep up with it, I don't see how you see any growth in the field going forward. So I'm not necessarily like an AI pessimist. I just think nobody's gonna know what's gonna happen, but it is important to kind of hedge your bets, so to speak. But I don't think it. I to clarify, I never think it should mean that you give up and don't pursue education or don't pursue a career because I think a law degree will be useful for me regardless of whether or not AI takes all the jobs. But it is something to think about, right? Like that's on the horizon. But yeah, in terms of like hobbies and stuff, I just feel like discouraged sometimes. Like AI knows Python a million times better than I know Python. It, you know, it kind of almost feels like useless because in the future, if there are terminals where you can just use human language in order to interface with your computer instead of any programming language, right? Like you can do with an LLM. So let's say you can interface with your computer through just human, like English words. You can describe what you want it to do, and it could implement it to like a satisfactory degree. Like all computer languages at that point will be a thing of the past, right? And I don't know how close we are to that. I think nobody really knows with AI stuff like how close we are. People always say, "Oh, we're these many years away from AGI. Oh, we're so close to AGI. Oh, we already have AGI. Oh, just wait till this next ChatGPT releases or whatever competitor product releases. We got AGI coming down the line." I don't think anyone really knows, except for the people that are actively developing it and see the improvement happen. But I think it is something that we need to try to be mindful of. I genuinely I don't know how to prepare for such a thing because I think like most of the advances throughout history of technological advances which have taken jobs have then created more jobs in managing the advanced technology, right? So, for example, Microsoft itself didn't. That's a creeper down there. Wow. I did not even notice him. He would have gotten me once I got to that island. Um, Microsoft itself, makes it really easy to analyze numbers, but it didn't replace accountants. It didn't replace. Oh, that was another creeper right there. It's funny. It didn't replace, finance, financial analysis people. It didn't replace statisticians or data technicians. In fact, you could make an argument that it actually just made their work far more effective. And so these technology increases that have come with the past have kind of, it almost has it's just benefited you if you've had higher levels of education, right? Like even back to the 1800s, right? The Industrial Revolution took away a lot of manual labor that people were having to do. But if you were educated, you still came out on top. However, the idea behind a technology that simulates thinking and simulates reason. I'm not, you can argue about whether it actually, you know, comes close to that. But I think it's pretty clear that it simulates it to an acceptable degree in many circumstances, and the circumstances in which it will simulate it to a successful degree will increase as the technology improves. It's almost like education almost becomes a risk in a way because it costs time, money, and resources to educate yourself. And specifically, it might come for educated positions, the attorneys that want to bill a bunch of money per hour. If AI can produce logical arguments and search the laws and whatever, you know, will there be a premium on human capital at that point? I think it's just going to be a mess. Another big problem is, you know, it's not only, let's see, something following me. Last time they're splashing in the water, something was following me. The other big problem is the more things get automated, the you would think, more career paths open up. But I mean, think about it for a second, right? Like if all the semi truck drivers, there are lots of semi truck drivers in the United States. If self-driving cars, become stable enough and accepted enough and safe enough, and you know, if it becomes at some point financially beneficial to trade all the drivers for self-driving cars, I'm not sure that there are all of a sudden the same amount of jobs that open up that are like, you know, car managers where you sit at a computer and like, oh, this truck needs to go here, this truck needs to go here. Um, I'm not confident that that will be a total replacement. In fact, it seems like it would eventually be a net negative, which, to be honest, our fertility rate is low enough that we should start exploring things that reduce, their necessity on human inputs in society. Sounds strange to say, but if there's going to be less people in the future, right? Which unfortunately it looks like there will be. I don't think it's a good thing, but I'm just, talking about the statistics that are coming down the line. People are having less kids are graduating high school because there's less of them. These less people are entering the workforce, and there's a greater number of elderly then to take care of and to watch out for. It's kind of maybe we should have, a trucking system and a transportation system where you don't need, a million drivers. But I don't know. It just it's a hard sacrifice to make, and it's a hard thing to decide. That's for sure. I hope these pillars look good. I wonder how it'll look with the dual sides. Need a little bit more cobblestone, not a whole ton more, but I might as well go grab it right now just so that we don't have to wait until the next episode. And I've already decided that in the next episode, I'm going to begin on Hollywood. So tomorrow or the next day, whenever I record it, it'll be Hollywood. Let's see if the kitten spawns on it. Forget that that's the sound that the egg makes when you throw it. Sounds like almost like a whip. Wabam. I think the best way to become AI proof is to be your own boss. I mean, it's kind of like the difference between renting and owning a home, right? Like right now I rent. I don't have enough money to own my own home. Not even close, you know. But if I did own my home, I would have a lot more control over what I'm able to and not able to do instead of being at someone else's mercy, right? The property owner. The property owner, if they want, could kick me and my wife out. They could, even if we were paying our rent perfectly, right? And I know there's laws and rules about what they can and can't do, but they can't do that to you if you live on your own property, right? Like if you live in your own house, you're the king and master of that house. And so I think the best possible way to position yourself for, you know, the AI revolution, so to speak, is going to be to put yourself in a position where you have a lot of bargaining power because you own assets. You own a company, for example. Whoa! Should I get in or should I just close it off for now? Got him. Alright, I am going to close it off for now, though. Finish off these pillars. I love the music. I wonder if it's going to get copyright claimed. I'm not monetized on this channel, so I don't really care if it is, but I wonder if I'll get a little notice about it. Because I heard that Warner Brothers, because they're making the Minecraft movie, they like licensed a version of the classic Minecraft songs, and now they're copyright claiming YouTube creators, even though the original the creator of the music, C418, he has, explicitly said, he retained all the rights to his music. Notch allowed him to. And he just granted like a permanent license to Mojang to be able to use it in their game. But I wonder if, I hear that Warner Brothers is, because they have a version of it, they have like a variant. I think they're now going on like a rampage and claiming even old Minecraft content, like just I hear Mice on Venus is like the hardest one to get by them, which I think is ridiculous. I mean, you can't steal people's. It's stealing. It's stealing. It's theft, and who knows if it's a mistake or if it's on purpose. But whether it is or isn't, it's theft either way. It's I don't really care about theft from. I mean, it is theft from the content creators, right? But that's not really the dimension I was describing it. It's theft from C418, who owns the music, to then be like, this is my music. It's almost like if someone asked you if they could write a book with of a character with your name in it, and you're like, yeah, but other people can have my name too, like obviously I still have my name, and then immediately they turn around and sue you for having your own name because it's in their book, right? Like these videos already existed before Warner Brothers went on their streak. Check that out, huh? That's a screenshot moment. I'm posting that for sure. And thank you guys very much for watching this video. I know I was kind of rambling today. I appreciate everyone for sticking with me and for liking and subscribing and just being the best community on YouTube. Thank you so much. I hope everyone has a great day.